Good morning. Welcome to Energy Workz. Today we're talking about inhaling hope and exhaling fear. So often we have a lot of fear, especially at this particular point in time. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, and we don't know, nothing like this has ever happened in our lifetime. And so we're wanting to help have hope, because I feel like to have a healthy immune system, you have to get out of panic. And I think a lot of us are in panic and are not knowing exactly what to do in these times. And I guess when it comes to it, a lot of things will happen to us in our life that we don't really know exactly what will happen, and we have to be able to keep going. And so sometimes I was listening to a guy called David Icke that Lila talks about, and he was saying often the best things that happen to us in life come in the form of a disaster. And he said we don't like what happens, but what happens to us as a person through these difficulties are the important things that happen. So Lila's mentioned she's listening to a lot of breath work. I think that's very important. You know, anytime we're taught to meditate, we're taught to listen to our breath and to focus on our breath. So, you know, I would encourage you to do that. Anything that helps you to help yourself be peaceful and calm inside, even though there's difficulties on the outside, and we don't know exactly what will happen. You know, I guess there are different times in the world's history that things have happened that we don't know exactly why or what will happen. So, you know, we want everyone to feel like there is hope and that we are able to be on top of ourselves. All right. So, as always, our body talks to us about where these things are, and, you know, we don't really know exactly what is happening, but we can tell from our body where we're feeling whatever stress is, or wherever we're storing the fears or the difficulties that we have. So I would encourage you to tune into your body and to see where it's talking to you. And every experience that we have, of course, our brain is comparing previous experiences to what is happening now and trying to file it and put it under the right category so that we can make sense of it and we can put it into perspective. And of course, what's happening at the moment hasn't happened in more than 100 years. So, yeah, Lila's mentioned here, she said, what the problem is when we came out of social distancing, what will our immune systems be like when we interact? Well, I think in the end, our immune systems always have to meet whatever comes up, and we learn to deal with whatever happens. And we can only strengthen ourselves by how healthy our mind is, and how healthy our spirit is, and how healthy our body is. And so they're the things that we can take hold of and do something about. Okay. All right. So if we say I'm okay with inhaling hope, that's true. I'm okay with exhaling fear, that's not so good. So we need to let go of the fears. Fear itself is scary, but it's like sometimes we need to sort of work out what it is we're actually scared of, and, try and get ourselves okay with wherever we're at. All right, so there's a gene component to exhaling fear, dad's side, dad's side, and the women. And emotions stuck in our genes. All right, and what's coming up is lack of inner peace. And I guess at any point in time, if we've ever, had experiences where we haven't been able to be in control of a situation, the only thing we can be in control of is ourselves. And, coming back into who we are, just focusing on being present, being okay with who we are, and not jumping into the future, or in my case, I'm usually jumping into the past. So trying to be present right now, I think, is very important, and just to breathe and be here now and be who you are now. Lila's mentioned Wim Hof. It's actually W-I-M. He's a very interesting man. They call him the Ice Man because he teaches people how to be able to breathe normally and be in a bucket of ice. I guess it's extreme, but again, it's learning to be able to control your reaction, or teaching your body to become resilient. And in the same token, I think saunas are that way too, that change in heat or temperature teaches our body to become more resilient. Okay. All right, so I inhale inner peace and I exhale fear. That's nice and strong. Great. Okay, now we're going to go into the third chakra, or the solar plexus chakra. All right, so this is from Jenny Rosengren's book, Over 1,000 Categorized Positive and Negative Beliefs. And it's I am always loved and secure. All right, so we're going to go into the cranial bones again. So when we get very stressed, our cranial bones don't function normally. All right, so at the back, the feeling that nobody cares. And I guess with the social isolation that's happening at the moment, there are people that would definitely feel that nobody cares because they don't feel like they can contact people or be hugged or have people care. So I think it's really important to reach out to people that that are isolated, and even if it's only by phone call or to drop something on their doorstep, I think that's really important. Oh, Will was saying, congratulations, new grandparent. Yes, I became a grandparent on Friday. Very exciting. All right, bacteria affecting the skull. All right, in the adrenals. Now, your adrenals are part of that fight-flight response that you can have, and we can all go into fight-flight mode, and everyone did and went and bought all the toilet paper, but it's important that we try and calm ourselves down and get out of that fight-flight mode. It's useful if a lion jumps out in front of you and you have to run, but it's not useful to be in that state all the time, and it's not sustainable. So it's important for us then to help our bodies. And let's get an affirmation from Kim. So Kim Redmond Futural's book. This is Essential Oil Affirmations. Great book. Okay. I accept a fresh perspective when recognizing the need to dismantle my old worldview. I love that. That's such a great affirmation for now, isn't it? So we all need a fresh perspective on how we see things. And let's say I'm okay with making a new worldview. This has got a genetic component. Dad's side, Dad's mum, and the women. Okay. All right, so what's coming up here genetically is the feeling of being unprotected. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. I think it's really important to pray and meditate and to have that spiritual connection, because we're all going to need that connection at this point in time to feel inspired to do things that we feel are right for us or for our families. So it's important to have that spiritual connection, to take time for that, take time to pray and meditate. Okay. All right, so something in our timeline now. All right, age 16 and age 23 and age 63 and 71. All right, so the oil of wintergreen is the oil of surrender. And in the end, it's going to come down to our feeling of connection, divine connection. All right, I let go and am free of the negativity and painful fear of failing that my procrastination was holding on to. So often we're fearful about the future, or we're fearful of trying new things or having a go. So let's all, unitedly give each other a little bit of bravery. All right, I surrender to what is without trying to change it. From that authentic view of what is, I'm able to powerfully forge ahead, unburdened by the weight of disappointment and all the heavy and exhausting shoulds. My way becomes uncomplicated. Okay. So that's under wintergreen oil. So you could put your wintergreen, your myrrh, and your thyme in the diffuser, and support yourself in feeling that you are able to inhale hope and exhale fear, because we really do want to let go of the fear, and we want to have hope that things will change for the better. And as we mentioned earlier, often the best things that change in life actually come through bad packages or difficulties, and we are frightened by the changes or the difficulties, but often they do bring us freedom of our mind and our spirit. So Zena mentioned, woke up at 3 this morning after so many weird dreams to do with the coronavirus and my dad and brothers. I felt a heaviness in my ears and throat. I got scared that I might have it. Feeling okay now, but I was very upset and stressed that I might have it. And I guess, this is the fear, but in the end, if it is a virus and if this is what's going on, we have to trust our bodies that they will know how to deal with it, and that we have the strength to get through any trial in this life. We get so fearful of something that it paralyzes us, but you know what? We have to feel the fear and do it anyway. There's a book called that, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I think it's worth a read so that you understand that whatever choices that we make in life, that, it's not a right way, wrong way. There are alternative ways, and that we need to have a go. All right, so let's go into the throat chakra since that's come up. All right, so this is about expression. And, maybe this is the perfect time to start expressing yourself. So maybe it's time to start drawing or painting or dancing or singing or writing poetry, or however it is that you choose to express yourself. Start expressing. Start expressing what you feel. Start expressing how you would like to feel. Support yourself in doing that. Feeling shut down. And I'm sure our ancestors have been through times of being shut down. Keeping in what we need to express. And maybe, we all need to express more love and concern for each other. Show support. Be there for people. All right, avoiding truth and facing painful facts. Yeah, there's some things that we have to do that. Zainab said, yay, dancing, I can do that. Go Zainab, I love it. And Susanna said, I guess we have to accept the virus. If we fight against it, we will attract more fear into our lives. And yeah, I think we can be very fearful. I think everything that I ever feared or worried about, I got a child with that problem and I had to face it and love it. So I think it's important that we do face our fears and understand that, yes, it may be challenging, but you know what? You've got through a lot worse things in your life, and you will get through this, and you will come out on top, and you will be a different person on the other side, and probably a better person. Not that you're not wonderful now. You are. All right. So cypress oil comes up here. Cypress oil is the oil of motion and flow. So sometimes we're getting very stuck in our thinking and in our fear and in our, state of terror and worrying. And we can forget that we can actually enjoy life. All right, Zainab saying, yes, some frustration with our Premier and her lockdown laws. I know that they're there for our safety, but for them to stay in place until we have a vaccine is ridiculous. Well, and I guess to be a bit controversial, vaccines need to be tested for years. I can't imagine that there will be safe vaccine if they haven't tested it under normal circumstances. Yeah. All right. So if you like cypress, you can apply it to you or you can smell it. Bottom of the feet's always a good access point because then there's all the reflexology points for your organs on the bottom of your feet. So I think that's good. So Leela said, stand tall. There's a lot of work for light workers to do. Do your best, brush your hair, and eat nutritional food. Sorry for the preaching. Okay, Leela. All right. So this is cypress. This is from Kim Redmond Futural's Essential Oil Affirmations. And it says, I see both sides of the story, even if I do not personally approve of one. Having experienced sorrows of the heart, I am a relatable person whose advice is often sought. Okay. And, sometimes we just need to be the voice of reason and calm. Just like, it's okay, we will get through this. The human race won't die. And, just like when they had the bubonic plague, not everyone died. Some people's immune system were able to fight back. And, I guess for us now, we understand so much more about the immune system. We understand the things that we need to do to have a healthy immune system. We need to eat well, we need to rest, we need to drink good water, breathe fresh air, be out in nature. And, even though we're restricted, you can go out in your backyard and you can put your feet in the grass. And if you can't do that, hold your pot plant. We can all do something to help ourselves and tell yourself, we're going to get through this. I'm capable and I have survived worse. I will survive this. All right. I cast aside my worries and let go of controlling others and outcomes. Releasing fear accelerates my growth. I love that. Because when we're stuck in fear, we can't grow. We get so stuck. It's like we've got feet in concrete. All right. I lean on my faith and it always bears my full weight. I'm clear about what I want and I then work towards it, anticipating its successful manifestation in my life. Now, maybe this is the perfect time to write that book or to make something or do that project or rearrange the house, paint the house, whatever thing that you've always wanted to do, you haven't had time. Maybe this is the time to do it. This is a gift for you to have a go. Start journaling, start your book, one little story or one little anecdote or a few principles at a time. Express what it is in your heart to express. Be who you're meant to be. All right, reactions to feelings. Where are your feelings lodged in your body? So what's coming up here is lack of self-love. I don't know about you, but this can be a pattern for me. When things go wrong, I tend to blame myself or get mad at myself and want to hate on myself, which is not good for your immune system. So it's like showing self-love or being kind to ourselves through the difficulty is way more important than criticizing ourselves. All right, so the lack of self-love has got a genetic component. Dad's side, Dad's mum, and the men on that side of the family. All right, not being open to the light. So I think being open to light is really important, and sometimes we've had some really hard knock experiences in our life that make us doubt divinity or make us doubt that things can turn out. We can go into that not trust. Okay, Susanna's mentioned in her nerves and her nervous system. All right, so let's go into the heart chakra now. So I'm going to use Jenny Rosengren's book here. I am compassionate with high moral ethics. And even that's sharing your toilet paper or sharing your food or sharing whatever it is that you have. All right, I allow others to completely feel their emotions. I don't know why this comes to mind, but I'll share it. So often a woman in childbirth makes lots of noises, very earthy, guttural, interesting noises. And often as an outsider, we want to shush people down or to not have them express these things because they make us uncomfortable. But these actual expression of noises and being in our body so strongly is really important for that birthing process. And we can't shut people down when they're doing that. We have to let them be. And even if it makes us uncomfortable, it's what that person has to do to birth the baby. And so I guess sometimes people, especially at this point in time, are gone into panic and fear and worry and mistrust. And it's like we have to honor their feelings. It's, may not be comfortable for us to feel their feelings or to feel their fear. It might be scary for us, but they are entitled to feel their feelings. We can encourage them to see things differently, but that's their feelings and they're entitled to them. All right, I embrace all that is love and reject all that is unlike love. And I think that's really important because in the end, I think love is the most powerful thing ever. So Julie's mentioned here, she said, I just remember my dream that I muscle tested DDR. Maybe it's important. What's DDR for again? So DDR is DNA repair. So I think that's very important to help our DNA cope with the things that are happening at the moment. All right, so DDR Prime is particularly supportive in releasing all types of negative family patterns which are recorded in the body itself in the DNA. It's especially suited for those who struggle with debilitating circumstances, as it helps to relieve feelings of doubt, disbelief, despair, and burden. It teaches individuals to reclaim their life energy and to believe that change is possible. So DDR Prime supports the process of regaining health and vitality by encouraging the release of the old and the birth of the new. Fantastic, Julie. I think we are all being reborn at this time, and letting go of the old patterns and the old way of thinking is important for us, and encouraging birth of the new thoughts, birth of the new way of living, birth of who we really are. All right, so we could use the DDR to help us be open to change. And, a lot of us find change difficult. We fight against it. We're fearful. We are terrified of things being uncontrollable. All right, so Lila suggested some oils here too. Heart, you could use geranium, rose, thyme, lemon and peppermint, and lungs, eucalyptus and bergamot. Okay, and you can have a go at muscle testing. If you've never muscle tested before, just a simple way to have a go is if you make a ring with your finger and you test that ring. So you could use a name or a color. So I can say I have a blue jacket, strong. I could say I have a purple jacket, that's weak. And so it's learning how to get used to your muscles. And you have a box of oils, go test. Say, go week for which oil I need. And you can go test which one would work for you. And go in your vitamin cupboard and ask your body what it needs today. You might need some extra vitamin C or some extra zinc or some extra N-acetylcysteine or some other, detoxifying agents which could help you. All right, so now we're going into the spine, and T6 is the wiring to our stomach, which I think we talk about every call, and reacting to feelings. All right, the subconscious belief that life must have burdens. All right, how about we change up that thinking a little bit? Yes, there will always be challenges. Let's call them challenges. And we do grow through the challenges. And I guess, and this is a struggle for me too, to be able to see good, to be able to notice the good. I'm really good at picking up the bad, noticing the bad. So it's important to be able to see the good, to notice the good, to look out for the good, because often we totally miss the good things. Leela's talking about a book, Chakra Wellness Made Simple by Connie Boucher. That could be very useful for you too, to understand what your energy field is teaching you. So let's plug in a chiropractic adjustment for our T6 and our cranials. All right, so nervous system could do with some more help. We've got a generational component, dad's side, dad's dad, and the men. All right, not wanting to accept things as they are. Now, I don't know why this pops in my head right now, but apparently there's an oil called Thieves Oil, which comes from Young Living, and probably the doTERRA equivalent would be On Guard. And apparently a lot of the thieves who stole stuff when people were dying used those particular oils or herbs at that time to survive. And so it's like, doing what you need to do at this point in time to survive. To believe that you will survive, to have faith in yourself that you will survive, that you have a strong body, a strong mind, and a strong spirit, and to depend on that inner strength to get you through anything. Now, even though we may not like how things are, our capacity to deal with it is important, and our capacity to believe in our strength that we can get through things and to have hope is the most important thing of all right now. Okay, so let's go into another oil, Arbor Vitae. All right, so it's the oil of divine grace. I remember when this oil was first presented that it comes from a tree in Canada, and it really means the tree of life. And apparently this tree, if it falls down in the forest, no insect will touch it. It could be down for 40 years and no insect will touch it. So I guess we could use this as a way to ward off bugs. And also, spiritually, it's about the oil of divine grace. So trusting in that divine connection that we have. And this is again from Kim Redmond Futrell's book on essential oil affirmations. I live in peace and joy by trusting in the abundant flow of divine grace. I know exactly what to hold on to and what to let go of. All right, my true strength comes from remembering I'm only one when I stand alone, but I have the strength of the innumerable when I accept the universe's help. And I think that's a great thought to hang on to at this point when you feel alone, that you are connected to the universe and, you have divine connection. Never forget that. I live effortlessly in divine grace. So trust that you are learning things that are important for your future self at this particular point in time. Use this time to declutter your mind, your living space, your life, and to see what is really important to you. All right, now we're going to go in the spine again, so C3. So I'm going to use Inner Siegel's book here, The Secret Language of Your Body, and she's got an area on the spine. Okay. So C3 can react to buying into other people's negative beliefs. So this can affect ears, teeth, jaw, headache, or skin issues. So acne, pimples, or eczema. It could also, like with the ear, you could have like your ears feel full or decreased hearing, tinnitus, and vertigo. So these can all be ear things that could come up. Again, we're going to plug in a chiropractic adjustment for, as if you've had one, for that C3. Great. Okay. So I haven't made an exact start date, but I'm going to start teaching Energy Workz online. I think it will be a Thursday night, and I'll probably start after Easter. But talk to your friends that are interested in learning, because we'll make it like a 2-hour class, probably weekly, for maybe 9 or 10 weeks. If you're interested, please send me a little message and let me know. If you've done Energy Workz before, we would love to have you on there. We'll probably do it in a Zoom format. That way we can interact and help each other learn. And, of course, we're going to have a go at using our own muscles to test, aren't we? All right, Leela's mentioned here, diffuse frankincense on guard for abundance. Yeah. All right, we're going to go into C1 now. So C1, we're always taught, is the fuse breaker for allergies. All right, what's hiding in C1 is wanting to run away from problems. And unfortunately, we cannot. All right, what comes up as well here is difficulty sleeping and the middle ear. And I guess if we want to go a little bit more talking directly about the ears, often it's like we don't really want to hear what's going on. And I guess the news is scary, and what's going on can be scary for people, and so they can be affected. So if you're a person that doesn't cope with the news, don't watch. Use this time to educate yourself. Use this time to learn an instrument or to have a go at something you always wanted to do and never didn't have time for. Now's the time. Have a go. Okay. So I would encourage you to write down what your hopes are for the future. You know, what do you hope for? How do you hope to feel? And if you can focus on how you hope to feel rather than on the events and the things around you, I think that is a way healthier way to look at it. Okay, we were saying put one foot in front of the other. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? That's all we can do. Go one step at a time. So I hope you have a wonderful day. If you need help or you feel like you're not coping, please let me know. There's a generational component to what's going on. Dad's side, just Dad. All right, disapproval of self, running away from self. And I find this hard too. I tend to look at, what I haven't done rather than what I have done. So, training ourselves to look for the good, training ourselves to recognize what we've done already. I would suggest that you meditate and pray so that you can understand if it's a message that you're supposed to hear or whether it's just negativity that needs to be released from your genes or your lifetime. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call and for the support. I really appreciate it. We always wonder, do we make a difference? Is what we do in our lives important? And I will tell you all that you do make a difference, and all the little wonderful things that you do, and even just striving to be a better person makes a difference, and you inspire all of us to have a go. All right. Well, sending you love and the biggest hug that we can. Leela said, Happy Easter. Yes, Happy Easter to all of you. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this time, and even if it won't be as usual, that you still take the time to ponder and meditate on all that is good. All right, see you all.